Hello, welcome back. Um, this time, I really want to talk about granny squares. I love granny squares. They're so versatile, and I thought it would be fun to share some project ideas of what you can do with granny squares. And I will talk about that while I make a granny square for a bag that I plan to make with some nice fall colors. But I think that first we should talk about types of granny squares. There are so many different kinds of granny squares, and I really only use two of them most of the time. I'll do like a classic granny square a lot of the time, and then I absolutely love solid granny squares, which is what I am making right now. If I can figure out where I am. I personally think that more people should make granny squares. They're just so easy. They're so fast. They're really good for stash busting. You can use scrap yarn. You can use multicolored yarn. There's really no limit to what you can do with a granny square. And I've recently made a tote bag out of granny squares. I am currently working on two blankets that I'm making as Christmas presents that are made of granny squares. You can make clothes with granny squares. You can make home decor with granny squares. You can do almost anything with granny squares. They are like the best thing that has ever happened to crochet, in my opinion. They're so easy to stitch together. They make the neatest little patterns. Like, I personally love to use Stitch Fiddle. I only use the free version, I don't pay for it. But I like to use Stitch Fiddle to make a blanket design. And then I will just crochet granny squares and piece them together like the graph that I made. And that's been working pretty well for me. But I have really been wanting to branch out because I haven't really used granny squares for anything besides blankets. So I am going to attempt to make a bag while we talk about all the wonderful things you can do with crochet. So I will go category by category and we'll just kind of think of some stuff. I've seen a lot of cool projects that I will include pictures of, and I will also link them in the description box. So I'm going to finish this row and then we'll move on. Crochet wearables are my favorite thing. I used to really only do little decorative stuff, but since I have been getting into it even more, I've started making wearables and I think they're really cool. So I have a little list of project ideas that I think are really cute or that I would like to make, and I'll talk about those. So first, I have shorts written down. I've seen a lot of people make granny square shorts. I've seen them on Pinterest a lot, and I think they're really cute. I don't know if I would wear them all the time, but I do think they're really cute. I think that you can pair them with stuff pretty easily. They're really quick to make, and they're just so cute. I can't get over how cute they are. I don't know if I'd be able to pull it off, but there are definitely people out there that can. Next, I have long pants. So that can be like jeans, kinda. It's not really jeans if it's not denim, I guess, but you can make like a jeans type thing. I have seen people make the cutest granny square bell bottoms. I am not a bell bottoms kind of girl, but I think that the granny square bell bottoms are super cute. I will have pictures probably here, so you'll be able to see what I mean. I think they're super cute. They seem very retro to me, and I like that. Probably would not look good on myself, but they are so cute on other people. A very, very popular one is cardigans. There are, oh my god, my voice sounds awful and I don't know why. There are so many different types of cardigans that you can crochet. I don't know if it counts, but like a hexagon cardigan is kind of basically a granny square with extra corners. It just has more sides. But I've seen a lot of people recreate the like Harry Styles cardigan. This is the one I'm talking about. You can get fancy and like do a bunch of different types of granny squares, like different stitches and stuff, and it makes it look really, really cool. Just kind of doing a patchwork kind of feel. I really, really like those. I think they are super, super cute. There are also these things. They're very new to me. I think that they are absolutely adorable. Cocoon cardigans, I believe is what most people call them. They are so cute. I don't know if they would be the most comfortable, but they are super, super cute. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on with my granny square. I messed up somewhere on this granny square. That's sad. We're gonna have to. I see. I can't even. I'm. I shouldn't be tired. I'm not even tired, so that's not even an excuse. Cocoon cardigans. Yeah, you literally just make a giant granny square and you put the corners together and boom, you have a cardigan. I think it's brilliant and I cannot wait to try it myself. I don't know what colors I'd do though. I've really been into like neutral colors lately. Maybe I'll make one. Sweaters and like sweater vests are both really cute. They're really easy. So you would basically make a bigger granny square to cover most of the front, and then you would make one for the back as well. Then you make your shoulder straps, and your armholes, sleeves if you want sleeves. You can build up the neck and make like a turtleneck if you want. Super, super versatile. I also lately have been really, really into the idea of like granny square overalls. I've seen pictures of people that made them and I think that they are adorable. Another like just small wearable you could do is like a bucket hat. I've seen granny square bucket hats that are really cute. And honestly, overalls with a matching bucket hat, that's adorable. I know what I'm gonna make myself next summer now. Those are quite the combo. I don't think there are any other wearables that I would personally make. So I guess we'll move on to the next category. The next category is bags, which conveniently is what I am working on right now. I recently made a granny square tote bag. I will put a picture of my tote bag in here. I absolutely adore how it came out, but that's not the only kind of tote bag you can make with granny squares. You can also do I don't know how to explain it, but it like has the bottom and then it has like two little points and it has kind of a V-neck in the middle. I really don't know how to describe it, but that's what I want to make right now. You can use smaller granny squares and sew them all together. I've seen people do that. Or how I am planning to do it, you make some bigger granny squares and then you would attach them together and have them folded. And so you'll have like it will be a triangle in the end, but like one square, another square here, and another square here. I think those are so cute, and I'm really excited to make my own. We'll see how that goes. I'm trying a solid granny square for this, but people usually do like a classic granny square for that. Messenger bags. I'm personally not a fan of messenger bags in general, but I've seen some really, really cute granny square messenger bags. I'm a bag person in general. I own so many totes and IKEA bags and all of that kind of stuff. I am a bag lady. But let's see. Fanny packs. I have seen people do granny square fanny packs and I think they're so cool. I love fanny packs. I don't really wear them much, just like in my everyday life, but I always have one on at work. I work in an environment where I may need to change location very quickly, and that means that anything that can travel with me in a fanny pack is traveling with me in a fanny pack. Keep little stacks in there. You do have to be able to get the zipper on. I don't know how easy that would be for me. I would imagine you put a liner in the fanny pack, or else it would stretch a lot. I always put liners in the bags that I make just because I don't want them to stretch a whole lot. Book bag. This one I'm not as excited about, but I think if you do it right, it can be really, really cute. You could, the pockets. I just love pockets on anything, and granny squares are the perfect way to add a pocket to something. You can add a pocket to like a cardigan, a bag, like anything. And all you need is like some squares and you just plop them on there and have one side not attached. It's perfect. I think it's adorable to have granny square pockets. Oh, you could put granny square pockets on things that are not crocheted too, though. Okay, well, now I have that idea. But back to bags. Another thing that I see a lot that I think is absolutely adorable are like Kindle sleeves, book sleeves, laptop sleeves, like that kind of thing. It's basically the same kind of premise as the bag that you fold into triangles. You're doing the same exact thing except with 4 squares instead of 3. So you would take your squares, once again, fold them into triangles, attach them to make another square, but one of the flaps you're not going to attach so that it can open and close. You can put a little button on there. You can just do a chain from the corner and have it like tie around. They're really, really cute. I have attempted to make one, but it came out kind of big, so I was a little bit disappointed. But I can always try again. I will try again. It will happen at some point. I think that's all that's all I have for bags. So we will move on to the last category and we'll finish this nice little discussion. This category I'm calling home decor / miscellaneous, just because I don't have a whole lot of ideas for either of those categories, so I just kind of stuck them together. But coasters, little granny square coasters, I think those are so cute. You can do whatever color you want. You can make cute color schemes. You can use different fancier types of granny squares. You could make granny squares and put like an applique on them. There are so many different ways you can go with coasters. They're very, very creative a lot of the time. I think they're cute. Here is what I mostly use granny squares for: blankets. I absolutely love making blankets out of granny squares. I feel like it's so much faster for me when I make a blanket out of granny squares instead of just going like back and forth row by row. They are difficult to get together sometimes. I will admit that. I'm not very good at attaching granny squares to each other. But you can do like a mattress stitch, which is what I am doing with a blanket I'm making right now. I made a bunch of solid granny squares like this one, and I put them into a kind of like plaid type pattern, and I'm mattress stitching them together. I'm working on another blanket right now. They are both Christmas presents, so we're working on both of them at once. I'm working on another granny square blanket that is going to be a patchwork blanket. So I'm making a bunch of different colors and sizes, and I am going to stick them all together like kind of haphazardly, planned haphazardly. And so far it's coming out really, really cute, and I really, really like it. Another way to attach granny squares to do like a blanket or anything else is slip stitching them together. I don't usually like to do that because of the colors being different from each other. I just prefer to have it be more uniform. That is probably not a huge deal to a lot of people, but I don't like it when colors that are not next to each other are used to slip stitch them together. Pillows. I want to make some granny square pillows so bad. They're really pillow covers. So what you do is you can do small granny squares, you can do like 2 big ones, but you attach them together around a pillow form. Super, super easy, super, super cute. I guess you could make just a pillowcase out of them too if you want. What I'm thinking, like a long pillow, how sometimes pillowcases on the back will have that like slit in the back that you just kind of shove it into that. You could probably do that with granny squares. If you did like 2 on the front, 2 on the back, but you just don't attach like this middle seam with the 2 on the back, that could be a pillowcase. I'm thinking of new ideas. I might have to try that and see if it actually works. Last one is water bottle sleeves or cozies or whatever you call them. I know different people call them different things, but I don't really have a use for them myself, just because I don't really use water bottles that fit those a lot of the time. But I think they are really cute, and I know there are a lot of people that really like them. So maybe try that out. Super cute. Anything else? Like a cat bed. A cat bag or cat bed or a dog bed, I think would be really cute to make out of granny squares. That might be it. Oh, placemats for a table. That could be cute. Or like a table runner. That could be cute. I think that's all I got. Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep working on this bag. You will be able to see it on my TikTok, on my Instagram. I always show off what I'm making. So I will see you next Monday. Hopefully this bag will be done by then. Yeah. See you next time. Bye.